You're most welcome to my podcast. Once again, Bravo Podcast is here to motivate you, encourage you, inspire you. And today is something different. I know most of you are out there in your families, you yourself, you're going through a lot of tough times. For those who know about the non communicable diseases, the non communicable diseases, we have diabetes and we also have hypertension. In this case, we are at a medical wellness center, a place that will change your life with your family and everybody who is out there. Joined with me is Dr. Barbara Agnes Kobsinje, a wellness, a medical wellness specialist that is here to take us through her story, what she does, the impact she has made in her community, her passion, and the amazing things she has done in her life. Sit down and do not move away as we take you through. You're most welcome, Dr. Agnes. It's my pleasure having you on our podcast, and I feel so honored being part of the work you're doing.
Thank you.
Tell us who you are as we dive into the journey of the Medical Wellness Center.
Thank you very much, Brian. Yes, I'm Dr. Agnes Barbara Kovsinje Ama. That's my other name. In short, Dr. A.
Yeah.
I'm well known as Dr. A in the fraternity. I'm a medical doctor who has specialized more in preventive medicine.
Yeah.
I have passion for seeing families, people, before it all goes wrong. I am the one who now ideally helps you. Like ideally out of that clinician's room, the first person you should visit is Dr. A.
Yeah.
One, I will take my time to explain to you what diabetes
It's all
means.
about.
Okay, I'll explain to you why they've given you tablets. By the way, once you're diagnosed with hypertension, with diabetes or high cholesterol, your first thing we must do is to protect your organs
Yeah.
from damage. And the quickest way to do that is by taking the tablets or the medications you've been given.
Yeah.
Now, when you're taking the medications and you're stabilizing, then at Dr. A, I will do an assessment. I'll assess your diet.
Yeah.
How has it been? We'll assess your lifestyle. We will also do a mental screening, your psychosocial well-being. We even go into the depths of, do you have a support system? That environment that enables you to overcome this challenge. Okay? And then we draw up what we call care packages and start walking the journey back, because a non-communicable disease is not like an infection.
Yeah.
It is something happened to you because of maybe the environment and it has caused the disease. So when we do all those screening levels, we then develop care packages and we start walking the journey with you back to wellness.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to say that I've supported very many people
Yeah.
to reverse diabetes, especially type 2.
Yeah.
For those who are advanced in the disease, at least we've sent it into what we call remission, where you can stay off your medication, but you still remain diabetic. It's like an asthmatic.
Yeah.
You're off medication, but should the weather change, then you need your medicine.
Yeah.
Likewise, for those in remission, I'm one of those in remission because there are certain circumstances that trigger my blood sugar. One of them is a simple bout of malaria.
Yeah.
Once I get malaria, the first thing I do is to get back on my medicines
Yeah.
because I tend to lose the ability
Yeah.
to control sugar.
Yeah.
Then I treat the malaria. Once the malaria is out, I manage it. I bring the dietary control back into play. So people who've been diagnosed with these diseases, hypertension, diabetes, mental health,
Yeah.
all they're very confusing scenarios. They cause fear, they cause panic
Yeah.
in the communities. They cause for you, they change your life,
Yeah.
you know. And we don't want you to worry because worry will worsen them.
Yeah.
We don't want you to run around to all clinicians, herbals, and everything unguided.
Yeah.
Some people have resorted to social media,
Yeah.
and social media right now is awash with so many products.
Yeah.
and you find uh, there is a client who came here and has a basket of supplements,
Yeah.
some with names I got no idea of.
Yeah.
Okay? And was very frustrated because despite all the nice words here,
Yeah.
he was failing to control
Yeah.
the sugar.
Sugars.
And he had started developing the tingling,
Yeah.
losing sensation in the legs.
Yeah.
And he was very scared. Okay. So that is what we do. We walk with you.
Okay.
Okay. We explain to you. So for those who are not yet there,
Yeah.
we'll teach you about non-communicable diseases,
Yeah.
and especially teach you how to preserve your wellness. You must remain well.
Yeah. Now, when we talk about remaining well,
Mm.
and of all the things, why did you concentrate on diabetes? Because I see diabetes is more pronounced here in your wellness. Of course, it comes with others. And then when you saw it that you got gestation diabetes, is that the diabetes that you got while you were pregnant? So many women have gone through that stage, and their diabetes has not actually gone away because most doctors tell us that it can disappear. What do you think causes getting diabetes, the gestation diabetes, during pregnancy and it doesn't disappear after? Or what brings it during pregnancy?
I'm not a guru when it comes to why it comes in pregnancy, but we
Yes.
know it does.
Yeah.
And most of the people diagnosed with diabetes in pregnancy, we tend to give birth to very big babies
Yeah.
who sometimes also have a bit of the
The type.
diabetes.
Yeah.
But the gestation one, the pregnancy diabetes, ideally goes away after delivery.
Yeah.
But in some cases, it does not. In my case, it did not go away.
Yeah.
And I would understand why, because I have a genetic predisposition in my family,
Okay.
maternal family, diabetes features.
Yeah.
So it did not surprise me when my diabetes didn't go. But right now, my diabetes is classified as type 2.
Yeah.
Do you know the difference between type 1 and type 2?
You could let us know.
So when you eat food, especially our foods,
Yeah.
they are digested and converted into sugar.
Yeah.
Our bodies need sugar
Yeah.
to function. And the body parts that need sugar are our cells, the cells that make us.
Yeah.
So sugar should be is transported in the blood after your digestion to the cells. So let me say this cell is a house, okay? A house that is locked. To open that door of the cell, you need a key, insulin,
Mm-hmm.
and you need a lock, a functional lock,
Mm-hmm.
which is what we call the insulin receptor.
Receptor.
So when the problem or the fault is with the key, insulin, that is diabetes type 1.
Yeah.
It's genetic in some cases. It shows very early. The problem is with the keys.
Yeah.
Okay. And most of those are detected early. They are younger, normally they are smaller, and majority are on injections
Yeah.
only. Diabetes type 1 is actually not reversible.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe with technology as we advance, it might be, but for now,
Is it because it is always from mother to child? Is
no,
it from
it's
parents
not
to
a
child?
mother to child. It's
Yeah.
just it's a genetic.
It's okay.
Let me. I don't want to call it an error. Something in the genetics is
Yeah.
producing keys that don't fit the locks.
Yes.
Okay. And so what we do is to give you keys, artificial keys that fit your locks.
Which is the insulin.
Yes, artificial insulin
Okay.
that fits your kind of lock, so that you can process sugar.
But when you look at the current times, type 1 is common.
No, 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 no.
Is it so common these days? Because many
It
children are born.
exists.
It
It
exists.
exists.
Many children are born with
The
type 1.
yeah. So let me first go back. Type 1 is when the key has a problem.
Yes.
Type 2, which is the most common, is when the keys are okay,
Yeah.
but the lock has a problem.
Yeah.
Either it has become rusty, or fats have covered it, or it has deformed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the things which disturb this lock are within our lifestyle.
Yeah.
It is us who do things that disturb the lock.
Yeah.
So type 2 diabetes is reversible if we can correct the issues around the lock. So both types are common, they're available. I mean, we see them,
Yeah.
but the most common in adults, and the one which is of most concern, is the type 2,
Yeah.
because it is something avoidable. Okay? Or it is something, if you got it, we can work with you
Yeah.
and trace where it all went wrong. What in your lifestyle, what in your diet are you not doing right?
Yeah.
Okay? Remember, our primary goal is to ensure that your organs are safe. Okay? So you asked that I use diabetes a lot. It's a lived experience.
Okay.
And it is diabetes that made me appreciate
Mhm.
that a lot more happens to us than what meets the eye.
Yeah.
You, as an individual, you are made up, you're constructed like a car. You are made up of three major key elements. There is your body,
Yeah.
which is the body itself, the muscles, the organs, no?
Yeah.
There is your mind, the decision making centers. And then there is your soul. Your soul, in my case, is not soul only religious, but
Mhm.
soul in terms of purpose,
Yeah.
the purpose for which you exist. Okay? And those three need to work together for you to be well.
Yeah.
Okay? It's like a three-legged stool. Hmm? If one leg is not working well, the rest do what?
Will not.
So the soul most times will influence how the mind feels.
Yeah.
And the mind has a direct connection to our bodies.
True.
Hmm? If, for example, we are near a roadside here, if a car tire bursts there,
Everybody
you
will
know,
be affected.
everyone will be affected, as in it generates fear. Your heart will pump at a very fast rate.
Yeah.
So the question is, who told the heart to pump? It's the brain.
Yeah.
And the brain does this using what we call hormones. It releases hormones.
Yeah.
Okay? So that is why here at the Wellness Center, when we are dealing with any non communicable disease, we look at your body. Where are we in the disease stage? Do we have damage? Okay? What is your nutrition? How are you feeding the body? We need to, you need to feed the body with, you need to feed your body. You need to feed life.
Yeah.
Do not feed the disease. You know, sometimes our food is feeding
This-
the disease, okay? And
Yeah.
it's growing and growing and growing.
Yeah.
Or sometimes our habits are
Yeah.
feeding the disease rather than ourselves.
Yes.
The last one we look at is your mental health. And it's a lot of supportive psychosocial support. We look at things like your soul, your purpose.
Yeah.
By the way, if you did not know, majority of people who commit suicide, it's not because the problem is with their bodies or their minds.
Yeah.
It is because they've lost purpose.
Yeah.
They've lost hope. They don't see any reason to live. Okay?
Yeah.
Regardless of the trigger. So that whole complex setup is what makes Dr. A Medical Wellness Center.
Wow. Wonderful. Now, if I'm to ask you something, is diabetes and hypertension a death warrant?
No.
Because why am I saying that? Are they? Why I'm asking, are they a death warrant? Is that we've seen when somebody is diagnosed with diabetes and hypertension, they see they are nearing their death, or they have got that warrant to kill them. But again, I have seen people who have lived with hypertension and diabetes for close to 40, 50 years ahead in their life. And someone tells you, I got hypertension or I got diabetes when I was 40. I am now 80 and they have lived with it. So, to our viewers out there who are going through diabetes, sometimes you find a man is diagnosed with diabetes and a woman worries that my husband is soon dying. Is it really a death warrant?
The answer is a strong no. It is understandable when you're given the diagnosis and what we know people are going through. I'm not saying that the doctors are mismanaging them. No, the doctors. I've been in the medical,
Yes.
in the routine.
Yeah.
The lines like that. The curative medicine is not structured
Yeah.
to give the kind of support
Yeah.
we provide here at Dr. A
Yeah.
Medical Wellness Center. So the difference between despair and hope when you have a non-communicable disease is Dr. A Medical Wellness Center.
Yes.
Okay? Once you understand what the disease is all about, what is happening to your body, many of them do not swallow their medicines as recommended because they don't understand why they must swallow every day.
Yeah.
But when we explain to you that you have a responsibility to protect your organs from damage, I don't know whether we need a whole session on diabetes,
Yeah.
but you've mixed water and sugar before.
Yeah.
It gets sticky and thick. That's what happens when your blood sugar is up. Your
Yeah.
blood is thick,
Yeah.
your blood is sticky, and it irritates.
Yeah.
There is no organ in our bodies like that likes blood which has high blood sugar. So we must keep it down to prevent damage.
Yeah.
As we work out a means to correct whatever is not okay in
Yes.
our diet. Okay, sometimes it is in the diet, sometimes it's an environmental thing, sometimes it's just knowledge.
Yeah.
You have seen diabetics who are willing to change diets and they put themselves on very strict diets,
Yeah.
but they are doing it when they are not guided. So instead of improving the diabetes, they're actually
Worsening
worsening
it.
it. Okay, it is in good faith. They really want to help
Yeah.
themselves,
Yeah.
but they need the guidance.
Yeah.
Now, the kind of guidance we give here, Dr. A, it's scientifically backed, you know, it is science. But we get science and add it into your social life.
Yeah.
Can you afford the intervention? Okay. Is it socially accepted? We have homes where it is very difficult to cook separate meals, that you're cooking for this one, that, and that one, the
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
Okay. So we put into perspective all those things. And at the end of the day, what has made us succeed is people are relate to it easily, and it's sustainable,
Yeah.
but it is also like it's culturally accepted. Okay, it, their adherence to medication, adherence to behavior change, adherence to lifestyle changes, the diet become more practical for them
Yeah.
than when someone is telling them to do things that are really out of their what?
Yes.
Of their league. And they are tailored packages. I cannot say the one for you
Yeah.
is the one that will work for him. No,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
sit with you as an individual. We even help you create a support system around you.
Mhm.
For those who are very unstable, let me say the complications have set in, we go ahead and even talk to your caregivers how they'll cook the food. We even help you develop emergency plans in
Yeah.
case of etc.
Yeah.
To smoothen. It's not an easy journey. It's
It's
a very complicated
very.
journey, you know,
I.
laced with fear
Yeah.
and everything.
I.
But with guidance,
I
I
have
think we
seen.
can do it.
I've seen commonly, of course, when people go for HIV test, most of them are cancelled
Yeah.
after getting your results of HIV. And I felt that even somebody who has been diagnosed with diabetes or hypertension needs to go through counseling.
Yeah.
But I've not seen it anywhere. And I'm wondering, I've not seen it for those who are going through non communicable diseases, being counseled and prepared for them to start their medication or to understand that now in their life, something of lifestyle has come into play. Now, at your center here, how different are you in that line? Do you give time to people who are being diagnosed with non-communicable diseases? Do they go through counseling? And as you as a doctor, do you think it's an important aspect in our lives as the world is changing now?
Thank you. Thank you very much for raising that. If anything, that is the most important. It's the most important part of care. Counseling somebody to accept what is happening to them,
Yeah.
to embrace the changes they need to make in their life in order to fight the condition, but also to overcome, I don't know, let me call them, they're not challenges.
Yeah.
Um, they are, imagine I'm 40 and I've lived my life in a certain way for 40 years. Changing all of a sudden is not an easy thing.
Yeah.
Okay? It's not an easy thing.
Yeah.
Because my environment, my family, my friends, I'm not yet structured
Yeah.
for that change. And so for us, we recognize that change cannot happen with a one-day interaction. No. That's why I told you we develop what we call a care package. Those care packages are designed, we have structured visits. So when you do this initial assessment, we have scores for these people. And there are certain scores where we'll say, no, I think we are going to need, on average, 6 structured visits.
Mhm.
And in each of those visits, it's a counseling session.
Wow.
And by the way, we are seated here is one of our consultation and counseling sessions. When you come here, we want you at peace.
Yeah.
Okay? We want you at peace, and we talk at your pace, at the speed at which you can take in information.
Yeah.
Okay? If you still have a lot of questions and answers, we are patient enough to listen to them. Because at the end of the day, it's not about us, it's about you. And we want you to embrace your condition and be part of your own journey.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, so of course, we've also gone digital. We have trackers, we have a lot of tools that we use.
That is,
But
yeah.
most of them are very practical. They can be used by a day-to-day person.
Yeah.
And yeah, and they're working fine. They're working fine.
You know, diabetes is very interesting a topic for me.
Mhm.
I'm sorry that I'm basing myself on diabetes because
No, it's fine.
I have
It's fine.
interacted myself. I've interacted with so many people with diabetes,
Mhm.
and what I've come to find out in Africa, we still link diabetes to witchcraft. And why I say witchcraft is that we've seen so many people, especially those who have the high risk food. So many people have been amputated,
Yeah.
and many people have wounds. I've come across somebody who says, no, that is witchcraft. He was actually bewitched, and that's why he is like that. I have myself have changed the lives of many, telling them it's not witchcraft. This is diabetic food. How do you handle this mindset of our communities? Because the community is still thinking that it's witchcraft.
Oh, thank you. Not only diabetes, I
Yeah.
think all non-communicable diseases at some point in the African traditional setting, we tend
Yes.
to refer to witchcraft,
Yeah.
but it is not witchcraft. And why is it that? Now, non-communicable diseases are silent killers.
Yeah.
You can have a condition in there, but you're functioning fine, but it is inside there and it's eating you up.
Yeah.
And the only time you get to know that you're not well is when the leg is paralyzed or you've developed a wound or stroke has come in. Much as we say the body communicates, if you do not know the language of the body, you will miss it. And for
Yeah.
you to say, I was okay. Okay. So what we do here is we have community outreaches. We do health talks.
Yeah.
We meet groups, we educate them on non-communicable diseases. On Saturday, we had Father's Day. We had an opportunity to just interact with the men, teaching them about these things. These things are silent killers. I like using analogies. Like a car, if your life is a car, the engine is the body,
Yeah.
your fuel is your nutrition, what you're taking in. Then we have the shock absorbers and everything that's your mindset, the ones which give us direction.
Yeah.
And we have the GPS, your location in life. GPS is where you are today in life, is that where you want to be.
Yeah.
Because you need purpose, you need satisfaction, you need to work towards something.
Yeah.
If I use the car, there are certain parts in the car, like the carburetor. It can die and nothing is happening. The dashboard is not showing,
Yeah.
the tires are not shaking,
Yeah.
the car is moving. But one day on the highway and it does what?
It stops.
That's our body.
Yeah.
So non-communicable diseases are like that carburetor. It will not show. By the time it is showing,
Yeah.
or oil is leaking, or the tires are wobbly, then it has gone into complication, or it
Yeah.
has gone into an advanced state. So with all that said, we are encouraging people, even if you're feeling fine, visit doctor. You have a health screening.
Yeah.
We have a system we call the Wellness Service Bay. Have your body checked, your blood pressure checked, your blood sugar. We use tape measures for the weight, the waist to determine the visceral fat. Okay.
Yeah.
We have nutritional guidance. In nutrition, we use what we call the traffic guide rule.
Yeah.
So depending on what we see here, we develop a traffic guide for you. Green, eat as much as possible. Yellow, caution. Red, at the stage, age, and everything, stop. Okay. Then we do the strength, physical strength. The balancing room is there.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we also have the GPS, which looks at your mental wellness, your
Wow.
purpose.
Yeah.
Okay. So for us, when you come for a wellness check, what we are saying is you're going to go through all the 4 stages. Okay. And at the end of it, depending on what each body We put results together, give a score, and then work with you to develop a package that helps you return to wellness.
Wow.
Okay? So that just trying to summarize it.
Yes.
So it's not witchcraft. It's just that these are silent. They're
Killers.
silent killers in
Killers.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
Let me give you an example which is interesting. I had a client who had been on his medication for the last 3 years, very stable. When you look at diet, was adhering very well, and the
Yeah.
diet was very okay. But he was concerned that in the last 2 months, he had lost control of the blood sugar.
Yeah.
So we took him through our service bay, our wellness bay, checked body, checked mind, checked physique, checked mental health. Okay. And the triggers or the cause of this loss of control was actually in mental health.
Yeah.
Had recently lost a job. There was a lot of pressure at home.
Yeah.
Was hardly sleeping well.
Yeah.
Huh? It was stressed, what we call stressed.
Yeah.
And stress will trigger the hormones cortisol.
Yeah.
Cortisol will disable something else,
Yeah.
which will disable another, and at the end of the day, you lose control of sugar. So these things are interlinked.
Yeah.
All we did for this gentleman is leave him on his diet and his this, but give him opportunity for counseling. How can we support? How do you create a support system?
Yeah.
How do you navigate issues of lack of sleep? How do you prevent yourself from progressing into depression and anxiety?
Yeah.
And success story. Within less than a month, the gentleman was back in control of. If he had, I don't know whether he had gotten a job yet or not. No.
Yeah.
But just the fact that we could address the issues of
That's
concern there.
Yeah.
Okay? Showing him how, with lesser income, how do you adjust diet to fit within what you're able to,
True.
okay? Was enough to help him calm down. And so it is a big story, but at the end of the day, body, mind, and soul.
Yeah. So mental health is very, very important, because if you don't have a stable mind, everything goes into excess.
Yes.
Your hypertension will raise up, the blood sugars will also become stubborn, because your mind is not settled to balance all this. Now, doctor, when I came into this place, I've seen you have a lot of places. I've seen you have stones, the white stones. I've seen you have the sun.
We have pots.
There are pots in your place. Then I ask yourself, how
mirrors.
Mirrors, how do these things connect? Mirrors, the sand, the stones, how do they connect with the kind of work you're doing in relation? Because, I mean, if I've gone to the hospital, I go to to the lab, and they test my hypertension, the diabetes and the rest. Talk to me, give me my medicine, and I go away. Why did you choose to install things that I've seen in this place? And what are they for?
That's a very good question. In our values, I'll show you the list of our values. Innovation is very, very key to us, and innovation in the practical sense. Yeah? The stones, they are river stones.
Yes.
The sand is beach sand. It feels good walking on these things. Okay.
Yeah.
So these are demonstrations of some of the things somebody can do to calm down.
Yeah.
Okay? Some people are anxious. Okay, let me take it a step backwards.
Yeah.
On our charts, you've seen adolescent health, you've seen mental health.
Yeah.
Now, when we are talking non-communicable diseases, the stage at which we avert or we handle non-communicable diseases starts in adolescence.
Yeah.
When the decisions to start habits and lifestyles that will eventually be harmful are going to take place. Yeah. So adolescent health is a very key component of our services. Parenting is key, parent to parent, parent to children, especially our kids in transition. They are becoming adolescents, or the adolescents, they're now joining university. How do they navigate that? Okay? In a safe and healthy way that doesn't predispose them to future non-communicable diseases. It's a very delicate stage. They learn the alcohol, they learn the smoking, they do all sorts of things. Okay? Even the sexual reproductive health is handled there. Okay? So it's in a way we link adolescent health to I don't want to say mental health, psychosocial well-being.
Yeah.
That is where it starts from, and it goes. So we have to teach you ways to preserve your wellness. Nature is therapy.
Mhm.
Sand, beaches, water flow, the stone. There's a lot of therapy. We use other aspects. We have measured many concepts. We have the wellness choto, you need to visit it. There's when
Yeah.
we do wellness choto with pots,
Yeah.
clay pots. Okay? That pot is your life.
Yeah.
And we show you how delicate your life can be. So, one of the things we've appreciated in our work is that things must be relatable. They must be as practical to somebody as possible. You, for example, if you came by Achira, if they want to teach a traffic rule sign, that in this kind of junctions you bend like or you do that. On paper, it can look easy.
Yeah.
But for me in Chira, if you tell me, for example, at the roundabout on the left, that is where this rule applies, I will
Yeah.
relate more to that rule
The
than,
practical way. Yeah.
yes. But that all said, I've worked, we are two founders. You'll see my colleague, she's Lydia. And we've worked together for the last 18 years around each other, starting off with the HIV/AIDS days, where communicating things even as basic as disclosure of one's status
Yeah.
was a very sensitive issue.
Yeah.
Breaking the test results to somebody, helping them accept themselves and navigate life without stigma, without etc. So if we go that far back in innovating these approaches to communicating, to counseling, to creating awareness, okay? Or they are to calm down, or it is teaching someone the options of nature therapy that are what are available to them. Okay, and then our rooms, you realize we don't have the traditional tables where I'm the doctor
Yeah.
and you are the client, because we feel those kind of tables create a divide.
Yeah.
I'm in authority, I know it, and you don't know.
Yeah.
No, here, Dr. A, you are supposed to be in charge. Our work is to empower you
Yeah.
to take charge of your life, of whatever is going on around you. Okay? Now, the same we do, we have an institutional package. We were talking about preserving wellness.
Yeah.
Why adolescents? Decisions are made at that age.
Yeah.
But the other one is our environment sometimes predisposes us to some of these non-communicable diseases or to habits that lead to non-communicable diseases. One of them is sitting.
Mhm.
In some of our workplaces, we sit for what?
For long.
We sit for long. Okay? And yet we have to earn our bread and butter.
Yeah.
Okay? So with institutions, we have wellness packages for them where we educate, especially management,
Yeah.
on how to ensure that the staff are in an enabling environment.
Yes.
Okay? We even go as far as supporting with safeguarding.
Yeah.
Safeguarding is one way to avoid toxic work environments. We help workplaces to do the risk assessments. We help them develop policies, update these policies,
Yeah.
and even operationalize these
Yeah.
policies. Okay? So that the person's environment at home is not promoting NCDs now, and the one at work is not promoting them either.
Either, yes. Yeah.
To try and create that work-life balance.
Yeah, balance.
So we do a lot. We are quite a big team. I handle the medical and the nutrition.
Yeah.
And I have a colleague, we have a nutritionist, we have the psychologists, adolescents, psychologists, mental health, and then psychologists for the elderly.
Yeah.
Okay. So it is a big team. It is a place worth visiting. I'm sure you've visited and you've seen.
Yeah.
And it makes all the difference. It makes all the difference. That one I speak with confidence. I speak with confidence because
Yeah.
I'm lived
Yes.
experience.
Wow. I'm just impressed when you come to this place, guys. You really experience what we're talking about. A place where, as she said, it's a dialogue form. You have a challenge, She sits with you, they sit with you, and you navigate through the solution. Not where I know it all, I'm the doctor, and you're the client. The setup is amazing. And I love more of the privacy that it gives, that when you come in and you want to have your own privacy, you're able to sit and relax. A place where there is some coffee as well to take as you wait for your services to be in place. I know each of us, actually 80-90% of families, there's somebody who is hypertensive. There's somebody who is living with diabetes. It's not a death warrant. Diabetes, hypertension, yes, these are lifestyle diseases that especially come when we get some money. Majority of people, when they get money, instead they choose to elevate their lives and start eating what we call healthy. But the saying goes that if you want to live a better life, eat like a pauper. When you eat like a pauper, you will definitely eat things that are actually meant for yourself. There's another something that I know about, that eat like a goat. Whatever a goat picks, pick it. You live a better life. What are you doing about your diabetes or hypertension? Or how are you helping somebody who is at your house that is having these kinds of challenges? There is an innovation here at the Medical Wellness Center along Chira Road as you're going to Kasangati. They are here to give you all the services that you need, the great services that you've always thought about. In this place, it's a journey they will take you through, not about, let me go to hospital and just pick medicine. You're going to hospital to make sure you come out well, happy, and healthy. Doctor, there's something I've heard about diabetes, and I don't know whether we should share it. Someone told me that diabetes affects the performance of men sexually. Is it the diabetes that affects men sexually, or the medication that you give men that have diabetes?
He did not attend the men's talk on Saturday. But our main topic, by the way,
Yes.
was direction, what makes it,
Yes.
and what messes it up.
Mess.
Okay, and we went step by step. We have it's a wellness pyramid.
Yeah.
For you to have it, you need the body, you need your mind, you need the soul. But let's look at the body.
Yeah.
In the body, you need your blood vessels working well.
Yeah.
You need blood reaching.
The genitals.
We had now we don't use those words here. Huh? We had very gentle words to use, so we had to give. The group we agreed to give respect
to the men.
to the men.
Yeah.
They gave honorable.
Honorable.
Blood must reach the honorable.
The honorable. Yes.
At the speed that is required, not too much and not
not too little.
The brain nerve connection should be functional.
Yeah.
Brain nerve connection is when you see. It was not an easy session, but it was okay.
Especially involving men.
Somebody passes and has nyash, and the brain quickly informs somebody else
that there's nyash.
That there is nyash passing. That connection
Yeah.
should be very intact.
Yes.
Then we went to the next layer. What are the things that affect the blood vessels and that connection, which in turn affect the performance of the honorable?
Yes.
That is where the non-communicable diseases came in. If blood is flowing faster than it should, it will destroy those blood vessels. Okay. If you have, we call them the cardiometabolic diseases, your cholesterols are high, your fats are high, they are going to line inside these blood vessels, okay? Yeah. And so the honorable is no longer receiving enough blood as it should. Secondly, you know that performance of the honorable is in the ability of the blood vessels to expand and relax. So we have conditions which make these blood vessels rigid, and they are unable to do what? Yeah. To expand and to relax. Okay. So those are the non-communicable. That was layer 3. We went further into layer 4. So what are we doing wrong to cause these non-communicable diseases which affect the body, and the body eventually affects the honorable? Yeah. And that is where the aspects of our diet came in, our lifestyle, our mental health,
Yeah.
our sleep, the amount of water we are drinking, our physical activity, things we felt are within our control.
Yeah.
Layer 5 looked more into the whole environment you're
Yeah.
in,
Yeah.
okay? etc, etc. And I think layer 6 were these habits we go for.
Yeah.
These days, as men, there are these boys who pass around and you call them power banks.
Yes.
They sell the roots and things like that, which
Yeah.
you feel.
Molondo.
We went into the details of the blue pill,
Yeah.
the Viagra. Okay,
Yeah.
you know that people are dying in lodges.
Yeah.
Sudden death is and Viagra is relatable.
Yeah.
Why? You're taking a pill which is supposed to help you expand blood vessels, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and improve the performance of the member.
Yes.
Member pale, honorable.
Honorable.
But if you already have, actually, the people who die sometimes are those who have very good blood vessels,
Yeah.
because already the size of the vessels is okay and the blood reaching is okay.
Yeah.
Now you take the blue pill and the blood vessels expand
Yeah.
beyond what they're supposed to expand. What
Yeah.
happens? Blood slows down.
Yeah.
And they were shocked to discover that actually the blue pill doesn't only affect the blood vessels in the honorable,
Yeah.
it affects all the blood vessels in the body.
Yeah.
So when you delay blood, it has slowed down. You go into hypotension, the heart, the brain are not receiving blood,
Yeah.
and you will die.
So, but why are they sold? Why is the blue pill sold on the market, or why is it acceptable for humans?
Why are you buying it?
No, because
Okay, I'm just saying
because
it
you have
can be.
availed it. So when you have availed it,
It-
the man will buy it, because at some point, someone needs also pleasure, we may call it, and they have given them an option. And in these pharmacies, they are there. It's not that they are sold in black market. What happens?
So the message we passed on to the men is, yes, the blue pill will work, it will
Yeah.
improve, but can it be guided use? Can we
Okay.
guide you?
Okay.
Can we run a checkup on you?
Okay.
Okay? Because sometimes the things you're doing to improve performance of the honorable
Yeah.
are not what you should be doing.
Yes.
With the diabetic men, they acknowledge that when they controlled their blood sugar, then performance of the neighbor
Goes up.
went up. You know, there is another person who we talked about. Now that you brought the topic,
Yeah.
this fat, the belly fat,
Yes.
this belly fat.
Yes.
Belly fat is not just fat. It behaves like an organ.
Yeah.
It releases toxins and chemicals and hormones.
Yeah.
Okay? Leptin is one of them. Do you know what leptin does?
No.
It converts the male hormone, testosterone, into a female hormone.
Wow.
So as a man, you become soft.
So is this how they say when you a man and you have a belly, a pregnant, they call you?
The member doesn't work very well.
Wow, wow. So check yourself out there. If you have the stomach,
some
if you
even
have,
worsened it.
if you have a stomach and it will affect your member, the honorable member. So you'd rather go and make sure you check out on your stomach and make sure we take it out. Do you help men? Do you help men do that as well? Because somebody comes when their stomach is up there. You help them also go down on their weight to make sure that the honorable member does not disappoint him at the point he needs him.
We help them. That is why we are here.
Yeah.
And that is why we also put very specifically a men's talk day.
Yeah.
We are going to be doing it. We shall communicate, but I think we are going to be doing it once every 2 months.
Yeah.
Or once, depending on demand.
Yeah.
But the men were very open. They really needed the session. Okay?
Yeah.
So yes, we help them. One, when you go through the wellness service bay, you realize much as we take your weight, we also have a tape measure. We take the diameter.
Yeah.
Okay. To the men out there, if your diameter of the waist is above 94 centimeters,
Yeah.
please come and we talk.
Yes.
Don't wait for this fat to become an organ.
Yes.
And start causing us problems when it can be prevented. And by the way, that fat is very easy to remove. It is within
Yeah.
the way we arrange your diet.
Yeah.
You've heard of intermittent fasting.
Yes.
Intermittent fasting has different versions of it.
Yeah.
Okay. And we can combine it with a ketogenic diet for a certain part.
Yeah.
But it needs to be guided.
Yeah.
I would want to do for you a meal plan or a diet guide when I know where we stand as
Yeah.
far as the other conditions are concerned. Okay. But otherwise, men, if we are serious, if you can adhere, if you can talk to us, trust me, within a month you would see a very big difference in the amount of
The
daily
fat, the very fat.
And as it reduces, the performance of the honorable
It'll be perfect.
improves.
Let's talk about the honorable of women.
Honorable of women.
Yes. Does it also affect the honorable of women? The women lose the
Now,
appetite because in this case, maybe we talk about the appetite and
yes.
the loss of, the urge for that honorable member.
Yes, the same belly fat. That substance I called, it's a toxin, leptin, amortase. Leptin, it has many names. I'm trying to avoid the medical terminology.
Yes.
It converts testosterone into estrogen. Now, in us women, a human being has both hormones.
Yeah.
Testosterone, which is a male hormone, and estrogen, which is a female hormone.
Yeah.
To be a man, you need more testosterone than estrogen.
Yes.
To be a woman, I need more estrogen than testosterone. Okay. But now that very same hormone, it will convert my little testosterone, which is supposed to preserve certain things in my body. It preserves the integrity of my bones, and as I grow, it will convert it into estrogen.
Yeah.
Now, an excess of estrogen in women causes fatigue, and it causes a very and I can't explain, but you lose interest in sex.
Yeah.
It affects the reproductive cycle. It messes up your periods. They become heavier.
Yeah.
Sometimes we even start developing what?
Pimples.
Beards.
Beards.
You've seen, like, it just messes up the whole.
Yeah.
Okay. So the balance in hormones is very, very key. Sometimes many women will talk about the polycystic ovarian syndromes, polycystic ovarian diseases, whereas it might not be the primary cause. It contributes.
Yeah.
And working on it improves a lot of our own health. Okay. Yeah. The one for women is not called honorable.
Yes, it is.
On a good day, I'll tell you the name.
It's amazing, guys. I hope you're enjoying our discussion.
And to the people out there, we will have the talk, information giving in our hall, because the Phoenix Hall.
Yeah.
But after that, we normally organize the discussions. We organize them as choto. Choto is across a campfire.
Yeah.
Or we organize them as chimeza. For the men, it was chimeza. Yeah. And during those talks, we have psychologists. The men are there, like the technical team is available to navigate. So it's a very interactive, but it improves. It helps you feel better about yourself. It helps you to start your journey towards wellness. Yeah. So you're welcome, and we shall be announcing the next one. And normally we send out flyers, and I think through you, Brian, we'll be communicating, especially to the men.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the days for the men, I want the men to take note of this. It is a day for men. It is your safe space.
Yeah.
There are no women in that hall. Okay?
Yeah.
There are no women in that hall, unless facilitators like myself or senior psychologists are needed. But as participants, it's men are there. Yeah. Men. Okay?
Yeah.
Sometimes we are there. I am there as a dummy.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything the women disturbed you, you bombard me. I'm representing them at that time X. Okay? But it is about opening up, about sharing challenges, about having someone to listen to you and to guide you as you walk this journey of wellness. When you approach your wellness early enough, you can increase your lifespan by so many years. Okay?
Yeah.
Yes. Health is the real wealth. That's what I like to say.
That's amazing. At least the boy child, somebody has thought about the boy child, and somebody thinking about the boy child. So if you're a boy child out there, they've come to take care of you as well. I know it's been tough that men could not go anywhere, because commonly women have clinics, have their own taking care of, and I must commend you for taking care of the men as well, accepting that men need help, both mentally and health-wise. Men need to up their game at all times. So in this place, Um, just briefly tell us about uh, something I'm very curious about when I saw this, the sand
And the stones.
and the stones. Talk
Mm.
about the sand and the stones in your premises. Of what use are they? And because somebody may come here and say, "Oh, there's the sand here. Is it for what?" Tell us briefly. How do you use these things to for therapy? I call it therapy. I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
We use them for many different things, like
Yes.
I've said. It's a form of therapy. Confidentiality here is very key
Yeah.
when we are dealing, but I'll just give a generic example. We have children who are extremely anxious, for example, okay? Or children who have closed in for whatever they've suffered, either at school or maybe parents sometimes when our relationships go sour or whatever the experience. So sometimes just the way they are born, their brains are hyperactive and they need that kind of support. When a child cannot relax, we will ask them to walk.
Yeah.
Take your time, walk. Okay. Normally you have a screen, they can watch a cartoon there, or even start talking to them easily when
Yeah.
they're in that kind of relaxed
Yeah.
environment. We have many other tools. I didn't organize all of them here, but we can see them.
Yeah.
And okay, some need something to touch,
Yeah.
some need many when they start opening up, not just children, even adults. They It's a very emotional
Yeah.
thing to talk about pain,
Yeah.
especially pain you've buried for long. Okay, we have the bugs, the
Yeah.
balloons. They have to blow.
Yeah.
They need to let it out.
Yeah.
Okay, we have all supports. If somebody breaks down, it's fine. It is well. We'll give
Yeah.
you that safe space for you to break down,
Yeah.
because the best place for you to break down or to go through all those is in our hands within, because we know how to navigate that. So I'll take time and arrange. There are very many. We have board games.
Yeah.
Okay, we have children who are unable to concentrate for long,
Yeah.
and we have very dedicated puzzles.
Yeah.
A puzzle forces a child to focus. You know, as you slowly work on this.
Yes.
But in just the message you should take is that we are very practical,
Yeah.
very innovative.
Yeah.
Nearly everything we are using here is Ugandan. It's
Yeah.
made in Uganda.
Natural.
By Uganda.
Build Uganda.
Oh, I said yeah. Build Uganda, buy Uganda, whatever it is. Okay?
Yeah.
They're natural, they are
Yeah.
relatable, they are
Yeah.
our day-to-day things,
Yes.
which are practical back home.
Yes.
People who are struggling to sleep, I don't prescribe sleeping pills,
Yes.
but I've been trained to play around the spices and the herbs.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
People detox. Do you detox?
I do. Yes.
What do you use? I'll not put you on the spot.
Yes, I really do. I use aloe vera,
Mhm.
and I use dandelion as well.
Okay, and it gives you running stomach.
Dandelion, yes, dandelion, and then aloe vera as well.
So it
Yeah.
gives you running stomach.
Yeah.
Now,
Not running
today,
so much, but at least it
today I want to tell you that there's a very big difference
yeah.
between detoxing and colon cleansing.
Cleansing, yes.
What you're doing is cleaning the
Colon.
colon.
Yeah.
You're not detoxing.
Yeah.
Detoxing is in the blood, is around the organs. It's
Yeah.
and their foods and spices. There's the conditions of the body we create.
Yeah.
When your body is detoxing, you don't get diarrhea.
Yeah.
You get sleep.
Yeah.
You heard of that? If
My
you want
first
to
time.
hear more, come to Dr. Emmett
When you're
for wellness
detoxing,
tips.
you get sleep. You don't
Yes.
get diarrhea, because most people, once they empty their gut, once they empty, you relax, and then you sleep
Oh yeah,
sometimes.
gut health.
Yes.
Gut health is very important.
Yeah.
Actually, it is like the center of most diseases.
Yeah.
Okay? Everything that makes us sick, we take it in. Okay?
Yes.
Either to the eyes, everything, everything makes us sick, we take
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
So the health of your intestine, the gut, is very, very critical
Yeah.
in managing diseases. But it is not on its own
Yeah.
enough. Take it to me, gospel truth. Once your body is detoxing, the first indication of your body is cleaning itself is sleep.
Sleep.
The
Yeah.
quality of your sleep, the length of your sleep, the
Yeah.
depth of your sleep,
Yeah.
not the diary of run around, run around, run around. Okay?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
And we can always talk to people
yeah.
and guide them, because the things we use are already in your,
In the
they're already in your
compound,
homes
yeah,
right
in the
now, by the
compound,
way.
and in the
They're already in the homes.
yeah,
Okay? And ours is not to hide information, it's to
yes,
give
give
you
you
the
yeah,
information.
yeah.
Okay? So that you know, whenever I feel like this,
This
before
is
I
what
even
I'm
come
supposed to.
running to Dr. A,
Yeah,
let me first take this
and
and
then
take that.
and all
Mm.
natural.
All of them are
Yeah.
natural. Okay?
Okay.
So that in case they are not working, then there is
Yeah.
reason
Yeah.
to
So,
take. Okay?
wow. Let's talk about doctor about the adolescents. Okay. What impact are you bringing to the adolescents? Because you said that it is through the adolescents times that we also acquire certain diseases that are going to affect us at the upper stage. What parent or which parent should bring the adolescent child into this place? And must they be hypertensive or must they be living with diabetes?
Now, if I take you back to the spectrum of our work,
Yeah.
we create awareness, we do health education.
Yeah.
So all parents of children
Yes.
should come. All children are our clients.
Yeah.
And we cluster their services depending on age group. We do isolate the adolescents because these are children in transition. Sorry. They are children in transition. They need to understand the changes in their body, the sexual reproductive health changes happening in their bodies. Okay?
Yeah.
So that they are not misguided by the so much uncoordinated information out there. They need to self-accept. We have these days, for some reason, children are starting their menstruation much earlier than we did in our times.
Yeah.
They're developing breasts way earlier. Okay? Even for the boys, they are starting to see hairy chests way earlier than they used to. Okay?
Yeah.
And so helping a child understand what is going through, they are going through,
Yeah.
is very key. As a parent, you can inform them, yes, it is normal, but you need people who are trained to talk to these children,
Yeah.
okay, to help do it for you. Uh, there is the non-physical changes, but we have the mental changes. We have changes with expectations around society. Someone to become musicians and they think to become a musician, you must use substances.
Yeah.
There's a lot that is going on with them.
Yeah.
So I didn't say that non-communicable diseases are common in them, but the beginning of prevention
Yeah.
starts here when they are transitioning, so that they can make informed choices. They
Great.
can make better life choices. We also talk to the parents. For some parents, it's awareness, parenting. Okay, we have the parent to children relationships, but importantly, we have the parent to parent
Yeah.
relationships. Okay, for us to understand our own relationships and how it can impact on the well-being of the children we are raising.
Yeah.
There's a lot of broken families right now. The divorce rates are high. But even those who are married, it's not bread and butter. Some have volcanoes inside there, I'm told.
Yeah.
Eh?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
something is happening in this generation that someone needs to come in. Okay.
Yeah.
So children at the end of the day suffer because of that. But again, I'm not blaming the parents. Maybe they are not aware
Yeah.
that
They're
these
not
one,
aware.
two, three things
It could help.
could affect. For some, it is because our economy. Parents need to look for money.
Yeah.
And so maybe one of the parents is out of the country,
Yeah.
okay? And needs to talk to, so the parenting styles now start differing. One parenting style is influenced by what someone is seeing out of the country.
Yeah.
Then there is the basic parenting, which we see here in Uganda.
Yeah.
Then each parent is talking to the children differently or separately. And the pressure point is the children. Okay? How do we help with that? One, we have video conferencing
Yeah.
facility. So for parents who are not around and they need to be part of their children's counseling sessions and the talks, we arrange for that.
Yeah.
Okay? So that there is some coordination on parenting around these children
Yeah.
in terms of expectation, in terms of exposure, in terms of everything. We have the parent who has the money saying my child must have a phone at any one time X.
Yeah.
The one who is in the country is so busy and feels is not control
Yeah.
of what the child is going to be using the phone for.
Yeah.
And maybe once the child have the phone, maybe on the weekend.
Yeah.
You understand? And then you find there is a bit of what? Of a conflict.
Yeah.
Mm? And as men, you know these things. Why don't you want the child to have the phone?
Yeah.
Eh? You're fearing the child will report you and what is happening when I'm not around. So it takes on different angles.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, much as it's a relationship issue between husband and wife,
Yeah.
it bears on the what?
On the children
On
as
the
well.
children.
Yes.
So for parents, we have on the 12th of July, we have a parenting talk.
Yeah.
Parent to parent.
Parent.
Okay? Because the children are in school right now. Parent to parent. Even if you're just a single parent and you need to understand how to navigate that.
Yeah.
We're going to have the talk here. It will be in the afternoon. Left with so many other activities, like I've said. Our service wellness bay will be up, open and running. The nutrition guides will be there. And we think for the parents, we shall have a choto to have these open discussions. And we're going to make it a routine.
Yeah.
Okay? So that there is somebody who is giving you guidance. You might be struggling with something in your home.
Yeah.
But somebody else has already solved it.
Yeah.
Okay? Hearing in from those innovations.
Yeah.
Okay? So 12th of July, it will be a Saturday, we will be here.
Yeah.
And it's focusing on parents. Doesn't matter the age of your children.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the age of the children.
Yeah.
Parent to parent, you're going to come. Now, this will also include those of us who've grown, we have our elderly parents. You know, our elderly parents are our children in a way.
Yeah.
And we need to take care of them. We need to understand what they are going through at their age.
Yeah.
We need to understand all those other aspects. Those parents also are welcome on 12th.
Doctor, we have our Ugandans, people who are in the diaspora.
Yes.
People who are in the diaspora have their parents they are taking care of in Uganda.
Yes.
And sometimes they send their parents to hospitals. And then these people have a challenge of getting in touch with the hospitals to be briefed of what is happening in the life of the mother or the father. Because, as you know, the setup of hospitals, you go to hospital, they don't care. I mean, they care, they give whatever they give, but that person who is taking care of the mother, of the ailing mother, cannot get in touch with the person who worked on this parent. In the end, they lose track.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, how have you, or what have you put in place for such kinds of people that are taking care of their parents, even those who are taking care of their children in the country as well, and feel that they should be brought to such a service to be talked to or to be handled? And then also, this person who is out in the diaspora would want also to be in touch, to know the progress, to know whatever happens in the life of the father,
to be part of
on the
care.
mother, to be part of the care.
Yes.
How are you prepared for this? And what have you put in place for somebody who is out there listening and says, I want to talk to Dr. Agnes. My mother is not well. My father is not well. I need them to talk to my father to understand that he's living with diabetes. It's actually not witchcraft.
So we are offering that as a service, by the way.
Yeah.
We're already offering it, and we do have clients. Parents are out, but these are adolescents.
Yeah.
Under a caretaker. Okay. But once in a while, the parents want to know what is going on, So we have video conferencing. The ones I told, there's a video conferencing facility.
Yeah.
You can counsel the children, or not even counsel. Have that discussion between children and parents, guided.
Mm-hmm.
So it also works the same for those who are the caretaking. They're out, but they have to take care of their parents here, and they are working with someone else to look after their parents. So for the caregivers, we have a caregiver package.
Yeah.
It can be as detailed as us sending someone to teach this person and demonstrate the feeding, the turning, the cleaning, of this person. Okay.
Yeah.
So it is detailed, it's deep, and it is available. When you mentioned that people in the diaspora, it is interesting. Certain supplements, certain medicines are easily available out. and they'll normally send these supplements,
The
proteins,
parents.
milks, and so many things to their parents.
Yeah.
And it's in good faith,
Yeah.
but sometimes it causes confusion.
Yeah. Too
Okay?
much. Yeah.
Or sometimes it creates a dependency. Mm? And that is something we do manage. So once enrolled into the program, many of the people in the diaspora start sending guided supplements.
Yeah.
Okay? And the supplementation, we use it where diet cannot meet the need.
Yeah.
If you're, I go back to diabetic, you're diabetic, I know you need potassium.
Yeah.
If you're not in a well-controlled diabetic mode at that time,
Yeah.
the best source of potassium in Uganda is the banana, the sweet bananas.
Yes.
Now, if I give you sweet bananas for diabetes, I'm going to shoot.
Yeah.
Okay? I want the potassium, but it's surrounded by sugar.
Yeah.
If I give you the banana, your blood sugar is going to go out of control.
True.
So I have to strike a balance. In that case, I'll prescribe potassium as a supplement
Yeah.
because where it exists as a natural food, it is not available to you in that state.
Yeah.
Should your sugar stabilize, then we slowly introduce
The banana.
the banana, the potassium in a dietary
Yes.
perspective. But you're getting what I mean. So for the people in the diaspora, these services are available.
Yeah.
These services are also available to them
Yeah.
as them. Staying away from home is challenging.
Yeah.
And counseling, for me, counseling works best with someone who understands your context,
Where you come from.
where you're coming from, the
Yeah.
reasons for why you're not home,
Yeah.
the cultural perspectives. Okay? Many of the people in the diaspora actually need a lot of mental health support,
Yeah. True.
psychosocial support,
True.
planning support. All these, some of them have been diagnosed with diseases out there,
Yeah.
and maybe they don't have their health insurance. I do not know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they do communicate.
Yeah.
And you're like, but okay, in the meantime, what can I do? Adjust the diet, swallow your medicines. We teach a few subtle, simple signs that you
Yeah.
can use day to day at home to know that maybe I have a problem or not.
Yeah.
The quality of your sleep, the taste in your mouth,
Yeah.
the color of your urine,
Yeah.
and the smell of urine.
Yeah.
And once in a while, by the way, I'll teach you bad manners, but once in a while, urinate away from a toilet. Urinate in a basin, pour in the tree, in the grass,
Yeah.
and go back after 15 minutes. Should you find
The grass
insects,
is dead. Yeah.
if you find insects, oh, the grass is dead. Right? Should you find insects
Yeah.
on your urine,
Yeah.
then your urine contains something these insects read as food.
Yeah.
Sugar
Yeah.
is one of them. Proteins,
Wow.
ketones. So without any other bad test, already the urine is telling you that something is not happening
Right. Yeah.
in the body. So we go as basic as
Wow.
that
Yeah.
because the people in Uganda need to relate. Not everyone can afford these tests all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Okay. But again, we want them to be well. What are those resources around us that we can use day to day
Wow.
to ensure that we are well?
That's amazing. When you say that.
Our slogan,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
we care for you beyond medicine.
Wow. That's amazing.
And do you doubt it now?
I can't doubt it because when you told me that you urinate in the bucket,
No, I'm saying if I say that at Dr. A, we give
No,
you care
that
beyond medicine.
it's amazing. It's so marvelous that I mean people will have to come and prove that. But I will tell you guys, it's an amazing experience here, and whatever she says, you will have to prove it yourself. What I've learned that if I urinated in the bucket and poured my urine out in the, let's say, in the compound, and again I go back, I was thinking that you find the grass is all dry,
You're not
which
serious.
means that your urine has a lot of disease. But if you find insects on your urine after 15 minutes, which means that your urine has the protein and there's
Your
something.
urine is not clean.
It's
Urine
not
is
clean,
supposed to be
yes.
sterile.
It's sterile.
Hmm?
So yeah, that's a
And
very
it
it's a
should
very
not
good test.
attract insects.
Insects. Wow.
Once it attracts insects,
But there are those also
something
whose
inside
there are
there.
those whose urine dries the grass in 15 minutes, 20 minutes. What
Uh,
happens to that?
I don't know about those ones.
thank you, thank you
I
so
do
much,
not
guys.
know
You've
about
seen
that.
a simple test that just take your urine, pour it in the compound, and then go back 15 minutes. When you find some insects are feeding on your urine, just know there is a problem. It's a simple test. It's a lab test. And these are the natural things that we're saying using. Now, doctor, I want us to go on the last but not the least.
Okay.
I want us to relate these two, hypertension and diabetes, onto the drug or substance use. When you talk about substance use, we have so many people abusing drugs. Many people are taking substances. Someone who is out there taking substances, he's okay, no hypertension, no diabetes. What are the chances of that person actually going into that stage?
Thank you, Brian. Now, when we talk about substances that are abusable,
Yeah.
these are substances that are addictive,
Yes.
and it's a very broad spectrum of them. I'm not exactly the best person for the ones they call the drugs.
Yes.
There is a colleague who is
Yes.
very keen in that.
Mhm.
But I come in on the ones which we consider part of our day-to-day nutrition, okay? Part of our day-to-day lifestyle.
Yeah.
But they have the potential of what we are talking about.
Yeah.
Number one is alcohol. I'm going to talk about the truth about alcohol.
Yeah.
Number two are the energy drinks.
Yes.
Okay?
Energy drinks.
The
Yes.
energy drinks.
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you about alcohol. Alcohol, I love whiskey sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm a culprit myself.
Yeah.
But the truth has to be said. Alcohol is a body poison,
Yeah.
regardless of how gentle or how it's marketed.
Yeah.
Alcohol is a body poison. I'm a victim too. I like to take whiskey once in a while, but the truth is, alcohol is a poison.
Yeah.
Now, when you eat food or when you take in herbs, medicines, in our bodies, we have the organ. The liver is like your primary processor. Everything goes via the liver. Okay? Now, when you eat food, let us take our usual Ugandan style. Friday evening, you first go and you eat chikarai. Immediately after, you're taking alcohol.
Yeah.
Now, when you take in food, ideally the body starts to digest the food with guidance from the liver. The liver will release enzymes, the liver will release bile, everything. Now, when you take alcohol, the liver will stop. It will stop digesting food. It must firstly remove this poison
Yeah.
that you put in your system.
Yeah.
Okay? So what does the liver do? The liver will store that partially processed food somewhere. And that is the origin of what sometimes you call the heavy metal deposits. We'll talk about them.
Yeah.
It will not digest or feed on anything until it eliminates this alcohol from your system.
Yeah.
So alcohol, how does alcohol affect us? Alcohol, I call them redundant calories. Alcohol contains calories that mimic our food-related calories.
Yeah.
But then it's not food, it's a poison.
Yeah.
So you find hormones like insulin, enzymes are going up, and they don't find anything sensible to work on.
Yeah.
So instead, they start eating at our own bodies. Okay. So alcohol, trust me, alcohol is a body poison.
Yeah.
If you want to lose weight, the first thing you need to go do away with is alcohol.
Yeah.
If you want to lose weight, you must get rid of alcohol. But alcohol itself is also as a poison. It's corrosive, the spirits. Our partially processed warages and what?
Yeah.
They affect the liver. They actually burn the liver. They cause a fatty liver. Or they even make it scar.
Yeah.
Okay? It is also a brain stimulant in low quantities. It stimulates the brain, but in very high quantities, it depresses. It shuts the brain down.
Yeah.
Okay, and the body perceives a lot of alcohol as a threat. So once you take in a lot of alcohol, the body is like it's in a state of being threatened all the time. So it is shooting cortisol all the time. Cortisol is a hormone. Cortisol in high quantities will cause you ulcers.
Yeah.
It will, there's a way it constricts and causes the blood pressure to go high. It will affect performance of honorable.
Honorable, yeah. That part is important.
You lose appetite. It changes the texture of your hair. Like a lot happens just because of that, the alcohol. The beautiful thing about alcohol is that the damage caused to the liver by alcohol is reversible, or that state is reversible if
Yeah.
you can stay away from
Yeah.
alcohol. Okay, and that is why most people, once they start getting fatty liver, cirrhosis, etc., alcohol issues, rule number one is get off
Alcohol.
alcohol. Now, the other energy drinks, one of the sessions we go through in the wellness service bay
Yeah.
and at the fueling station is for you to understand nutrition. We look at how do you read an ingredient list
Yeah.
to know what is in it. Okay. We did it for the men who are concerned about the sugar, because the majority were avoiding sugar,
Thinking that.
not thinking they were right in a way that they told them too much sugar
Uh-huh.
impairs the
Yeah, they're
honorable.
honorable.
But I think we've talked about it doesn't directly.
Yes.
It
that's
influences something
other-
that influences something.
and then
No?
the honorable becomes the victim.
Yes. So we had to learn, how do you read an ingredient list? How do you know that what you're buying contains sugar? So non-ingredient list, we normally have the carbohydrates. And below them, you'll either see total sugars or added sugars.
Yeah.
By the way, Brian, not all sugars are sweet.
Yes.
You know
true.
that? Not
Yeah.
all sugars
That's
are
sweet.
sweet. Okay. And that is where a majority of our nutritional errors are coming from.
Yeah.
People are avoiding the sweet ones and going for the
silent ones.
the stored version, okay, the more concentrated version
Yeah.
of them, which are not that,
Yeah.
which are not sweet. So anyway, we learned how to read the ingredient list. 4 grams of sugar are equal to 1 teaspoon
Yeah.
of sugar. So I was on the table with a team that had the soda, and it was showing 44 grams.
Yeah.
Total sugar is 44 grams
Yeah.
of, and total, and then the table is in two forms. You need to read also up there.
Yeah.
Is it per 100 mils or is it per serving?
Yeah.
Per serving means that particular, the way it has been packaged.
Yeah.
Per 100 mils, it's this. Now, the bottle we had was a unique bottle because these 44 grams were actually per 100 mils.
Yes.
So you're speaking 11 spoons of sugar, and many of us go via supermarket and you actually buy that.
The big
Or
one.
the bigger one.
Yeah.
So now that we must also multiply the 44. We talked about honey. We had many who don't take sugar,
And they
but
opt
they
for
take honey.
Which has more calories, actually.
Actually, honey is a concentrated form of
Calories.
sugar. One is natural, one is processed, but
Yes.
the body does not care.
Yeah. It's all sugar.
Sugar is sugar. And 1 spoon of honey is equal to 4 spoons of sugar.
I've always told people about that.
So you're
and we have always
avoiding the 2
argued.
spoons of sugar,
Yes.
but you're putting 8
Yes.
spoons of sugar via honey.
We've always argued that out, and so many people I've talked to, I've said, honey has more calories than even the real sugar. But they say, no, I was told by my doctor to go for honey, it is natural, and I avoid the other sugar. And you find them putting more spoons of honey in the tea.
No, but even when you taste it, it's more concentrated.
Yes.
But okay, it is organic.
Yeah.
We talked about what we call the morning trap.
Yes.
Many of the people who are doing healthy eating.
Yeah.
For the women, they'll never forgive me.
Yeah.
Many are spending a lot of money to buy these weight loss teas.
Yes.
But it's taking weight loss tea with bread.
Yes.
And for me, it doesn't make sense. So now I don't understand what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
But let us first come back to what we call the morning trap.
Yeah.
Many of the people in that hall have adapted what they perceive as healthy habits to reduce on sugar intake. Now, the most common typical breakfast that was there was black tea in the morning.
Yeah.
And they don't put crystalline sugar, but they put 2 spoons of honey.
Yeah.
And they add a lemon. Okay.
Yeah.
They no longer eat bread, etc., but they will eat bananas.
Yeah.
So let's count the spoons of sugar.
Yeah, already there are many because you've already
honey
put
are
sugar.
8.
Yeah, and 8. Then
lemon itself is a citrus fruit.
Which has sugar.
I'll give you a measure you could use. If you have pineapple or mango or passion, a glass of that without you, not even cocktail, just on its own, without you adding sugar, a glass of mango juice naturally has up to 9 to 11 spoons of sugar before you add anything.
Yes.
And when you drink it, isn't it sweet?
Very sweet.
It is sweet. So oranges and lemons also contain sugar. So you put 2 spoons of honey, 8 spoons. You've added in the lemon, another set of spoons, and on top of that, you've eaten bogoya, which has how many other spoons of?
So
So
you're
before
almost,
9
yeah,
a.m.,
you already
imagine
have
you're
about 20,
diabetic,
yes.
you're already losing control of your sugar.
Yeah,
But before 9 a.m., you've loaded close to 22 spoons of sugar,
in your body.
but unknowingly.
Before you start even the day, because
Thank
the
you.
whole day you're going to eat so many
And
things.
then
as
you
well.
complain that you feel like energy, you feel weak.
Yeah,
Because the
of
body will crash.
Yeah, because of too much.
So we walk people through some of those things.
Yeah,
And people need to appreciate, one, not all sugars are sweet.
yeah,
Okay. And natural sugars are also sugars.
yes.
And the
Also, it's
body
sugar.
reads them as
It
sugars.
is still sugar.
We talked about artificial sweeteners.
Yes.
These ones, whereas
The
yes, they are not.
stevias.
The stevia, I'm yet to understand stevia, the plant.
Yeah.
I've seen it, and we are yet to visit someone who's growing it and
Yeah.
understand how it works.
Yeah.
It's a replacement for sugar, yes, but I do not know whether it fits in natural sugars or it fits in
Yeah.
artificial sweeteners.
Yes.
But there are these artificial sweeteners, they are sold.
Yeah.
Whereas they are not the kind of sugar that will enter the blood cells. They are sweet and the body responds to them the way it responds to sugar.
Yeah.
So insulin will be released, DTC will be released to digest this sugar,
Yeah.
only to find another substance. Then the insulin will start doing its distractions. So it's kind of a chain reaction.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's why we encourage people, when you have to make critical decisions about your life, come to us. By the way, we are affordable.
Yes.
I don't want to go into the cost because
Yeah,
packages are
different.
Tailor-made. But consultation, what we call the initial screening
Yes.
visit, depending on what you presented with, ranges between 50,000 and 100,000.
Which is affordable.
Okay? If you have to see more than three of us, the senior people, it's just 100,000.
Wonderful.
If your issue stops at one, you may do the 50,000.
So it's amazing. Let me, before I forget, because this is a very important point that I want to make, Doctor. You talked about alcohol and with the honorable. Some men, when they take alcohol, their chamber, their honorable, is when their honorable becomes happy. Now, without alcohol, the honorable cannot perform. And the man loses his marriage. Because what stimulates his mind is his alcohol he has taken and is able to go home and fulfill his conjugal rights with the wife. Such men, what are the solutions of such men?
Alcohol in low quantities is a brain stimulant.
Yes.
It wouldn't surprise me if it had that kind of effect on the person.
Yeah.
But again, it is also a mindset.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example. In my earlier work, I used to move around Uganda, those trading centers, those years. And at the time when the women used to bleach a lot, the olden form of bleaching, the one where during the day you didn't want to look at this person. So I was with a gentleman. And when we entered this place to have our meals and the beers, were waiting for the other cars to reach us. The lady serving was so bleached, this uneven bleaching, it,
with Coca-Cola and Fanta.
The face and the face. So the men around the comments were not healthy.
Yeah.
They looked a little disgusted. But they started drinking alcohol.
And after, in a few hours, the girl was beautiful.
Yes. Let me tell you the real statement which shocked me. At some point, one of them was the biggest critic. When she came to serve another beer, he called her brown. I said, now alcohol is at work.
There is a saying. So
it also impairs our judgment.
No, there is a saying. There is a saying that goes that when you enter a bar, first make sure you tap all the girls around. Mark the most ugly girl in that bar. Should that girl
start looking beautiful,
men, look.
You run away and go home.
If a man and you go to bars, if a man and you frequent bars, when you get into these bars, just mark the girls that you find in the bar. Mark the most ugly girl in that bar. When you take one bottle or two or three, and that girl that is ugly turns so beautiful, my brother, leave the bar and get to your house.
That I've heard of that, and it's very interesting. Actually, some of the most sophisticated bars now have these glasses, like whiskey glasses, that are kind of bent.
Mhm.
They're kind of skewed.
Yes.
And the message there is, as you're taking whiskey, should you start seeing this glass as normal,
Straight.
please go home.
Go home.
So alcohol on its own, it impairs our thinking, it impairs our thinking. But this issue around husband and wife is a lot more than just the alcohol.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a lot more than just the alcohol.
Yeah.
Maybe their relationship when they're sober is a bit strained,
Yeah.
but when he's a bit drunk, he ignores certain things.
Yeah.
Okay, so that one around relationships, performance, alcohol is a very detailed and personalized discussion.
Yeah.
And if anybody's facing the same, they can come.
And then be
The
able
senior
to
psychologists, they are available. They can talk about it, because starting to depend on alcohol for your performance of honorable is not healthy at all,
Yeah.
because alcohol is going to predispose you to conditions that are going to injure the member very permanently.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's a delicate interplay, but alcohol is not a good thing. And if someone is depending on it for certain things, then it is time for them to come and we talk.
Yeah. That's amazing. Thank you so much. And one last thing. When I visited several times, I visited in the US.
Mhm.
I have noticed one thing in the US, which also is coming here, that the energy drinks in the United States of America is so much that everybody, because of the lifestyle, they are dependent on energy drinks. As with your expertise, tell us the side effects of energy drinks that have even taken over the country, Uganda, that everybody goes and buys these energy drinks. We are not trying to decampaign anyone's energy drink, but as a person really who handles people's health, what do you advise by men? Because men are the most common people that actually take energy drinks. Tell us about them.
Energy drinks is a very big topic. Energy drinks is a very big topic, and I think we should liaise and have a podcast
Yeah.
purely on energy drinks and all those other foods that mimic energy drinks, including
Yes.
the herbals
Yeah.
that do those stimulations, because it is a more detailed drink.
Yeah.
But how are people using it? It's their brain stimulants. It
Yeah.
stimulates the brain and forces a sudden release of energy. Yeah? So your energies go up, but they'll crash at some point.
Yeah.
A lot of people are using them as hangover remedies. Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of people are using them to stay alert on the roads when they are driving. Yes, they contain caffeine, they
Yeah.
keep you alert and the sleep is away. But in the long run, they are going to affect. I'm sure you've heard of people who've taken 2, 3 bottles of an energy drink,
Yeah.
and they die.
Yeah.
Because they do have other substances in them that increase the rate at which your heart is pumping.
Yeah.
They influence the speed at which blood is flowing. If you already have problems, however little, it tends to amplify them. Okay, so energy drinks are a complicated discussion.
Yeah.
And at Dr. A, this is what we believe. If you have an environment, for example, if you must drive a long distance,
Yeah.
and you want the brain to be alert, or you are in an office and it is the deadline season and you need your brain alert,
Yeah.
rather than going for an energy drink, come and we talk. I will rearrange your food to ensure mental clarity
Yeah.
and alertness.
Yeah.
You are familiar with the ketogenic arrangements of
Yes.
foods.
Yes.
Actually, for you to have energy, we withdraw sugar.
Yeah. Withdraw sugar.
I want somebody out there to get a day, let your last meal be around 7, and don't take anything with sugar or starch.
Yeah.
Take maybe herbal teas, no sugar, no honey. Sleep, okay? And tell me how you'll feel in the morning. Normally, you wake up with a lot more energy than you
Yes.
would if you take a starch containing.
Wow.
But where am I even going? When they would feed us on cassava lunchtime at school,
Yes.
what would happen to the afternoon session?
Sleeping.
But they fed you on an
And,
energy
yeah.
giving food.
Yeah.
So the body acts in an interesting way. Okay?
Yeah.
So what we do is explore why someone suddenly feels the need
Yeah.
to depend on an energy drink.
Yeah.
Is it an information gap, or is it an environmental factor?
Yeah.
Is there another safe way we can ensure energy and alertness without someone affecting their
Yeah,
general
yeah,
well-being.
yeah,
We care for you beyond
yeah.
medicine. Welcome to the Dr. A Medical Wellness
Yes,
Center.
it's amazing. It's amazing. Myself, what I practice is that I eat my lunch at 3:30 p.m. every day, and I will not eat anything until the following day at 10 a.m. You may say those are many hours, but that has been my culture. And at my age of 47, I am still moving. I am at just the tender age of 47. Now, what happens when you wake up in the morning? Most of you, you wake up from your bed. After whatever you're doing, you rush to your dining tables. And then you start taking breakfast, which is very, very dangerous. When you wake up in the morning, remember the body picks energy from your fat. So now it starts using that energy from your fat. And then you eat later, like at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, because you don't bombard your stomach with food, and especially these processed foods, which will cause you more trouble. Thank you so much. It's been my pleasure being at Doctor's Wellness Clinic, which is located at Kasangati Road, just from the roundabout of Chira, just 400 meters on your left. You'll be able to find all the services that we are talking about. You need to experience it, and you'll have it by yourself. The men out there, please come and check out this place. You can book in yourself and make sure that you get these services. Now, doctor, the last minute, talk to the people who are in the diaspora.
Mhm.
How can they be helped? I know with my travels, most of our people are out there. They can't access medical facilities in the United States, in the UK, because one, they don't have insurance, or two, they don't have access because some of our members out there are still not documented. But they are sick, they want to control their hypertension, they want to control their diabetes, they want to talk to somebody. They can afford to make a call to you or to make a call to your services. Tell them, how can they go about this?
Thank you, Brian. So we have social media handles. All our social media handles are Dr. A Medical Wellness as one word, small fonts, okay, for all of them. But we also have the WhatsApp platforms. And yes, the Ugandan code plus 256 700 162 402. Okay? Or the Ugandan code again plus 256, it will be 770 86 85 08. Or alternatively, you can look me up as Dr. Agnes Barbara Kopsinje. On social media, I go by Agnes Barbara Ama, okay? Or on LinkedIn, the more professional ones, yes, you'll find me as Dr. Agnes Barbara Kopsinje. And just drop a message and I'll ensure that we connect. We are working on a website and a digital platform,
Yeah.
where they can you can easily, you know, those platforms,
Yes.
yeah, where you can book an appointment, but it is not yet functional, well,
Yes.
fully
Yes.
functional.
Yeah.
But as and when it is, then we shall switch from this analog way of doing things to the actual digital way of doing things.
Wonderful.
But I'm available. We have a team that handles the social media, and your comments will be received. On top of that, you can also put a comment in this podcast.
Yeah.
Through Brian Bravo, we shall be able to get that comment and reach out to you and make an arrangement to see how you can be supported. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's once again my pleasure hosting Doctor, so that you can learn, be motivated, be encouraged, and be inspired. Not only do they just give medicine here, they actually walk the journey with you. Have a great day and all the best in whatever you do. Thank you.